Okay, today we're talking, as you saw in the thumbnail, we're talking about the meta, the weird thing that strikes fear and I guess charisma. I don't really understand it into the game. It's kind of how the game sort of ebbs and flows. And one thing I've been hearing for a long effing year, more so this year, but it started last year, was the evil switch hitters. They're so evil. They're evil. So today we're gonna dive in and sort of just look at really the switch hitters. We're gonna look at a bunch of the ones that I have. We're gonna come look at the show zone and talk and see really how many make the best viable team with all the cards. Again, this is probably gonna be a little bit more divisive because I'm gonna share sort of my thoughts on it and how I think this is. Spoiler alert: I think it's the dumbest shit humanity and this community has probably ever done. And trust me, they've done some stupid shit. But we're going to talk a lot about this. So leave your strikes, your hatred, the pitchforks all down below, and all that stuff. So let's get into this hot, spicy video. Okay, so we're going to start here with the show zone. And the reason why I want to start here at the show zone is because they have a little bit more in terms of the data that I can basically that I can see, which is more so really what I'm looking for is this is more so just hard data. And the reason why I want to do hard numbers is essentially really it just gives me, I'm trying to think of the right word. It gives me more raw numbers because you see sort of here it has like a true overall power and stuff. So this is the best team with everything, right? It's Bryce Terang, Gary Sanchez, Lou Gehrig, Tatis, Babe Ruth, Chipper, Schwarber, Ken Griffey Jr., Brian Reynolds. On the bench we have Jose Bautista, Ted Williams, Oscar Charleston, and Biz Mackey. Now in terms of this lineup, we see here that there's only there are three switch hitters in this lineup, or two switch hitters in this lineup, Chipper Jones and Brian Reynolds, and one on the bench in Biz Mackey. Now, ultimately, you can argue and say, well, Specs, not a lot of people are gonna have these cards. That is probably true. So let's just say hypothetically we put somebody else in there, right? If this is the best quote unquote best team, best overall, including the meta, yeah, this cost is over 1 million stubs. Its defense is dying. Look, like this is the best team, right? There are 3 switch hitters in here. It's not half the lineup. I might read. It looks like a fairly decent lineup here. Nothing too out of the ordinary, crazy here. Truth be told, you have all this stuff. Now let's compare it to the evil all switch hitting team. Right here, you see here the true overall for the best all switch hitting team. Mind you, this team is half the stubs required. It's only 500,000 stubs compared to this one, which was 1.1, almost 1.5 million. And you look at this team here: Brian Reynolds, Cal Raleigh, Ted Williams, Jurickson Profar, Cattell, Carlos Payne, Carlos Beltran. They have them in 2 positions. I'm guessing it's like, hey, pick one, and then we could switch somebody out for him, I guess. Chase Headley and DeShields, or DeVries. So let's, just for this, but like cool pie, I don't know. Ignore the other Beltran is what I'm trying to get at here. But point being is the best switch hitting lineup here isn't as good as the best true overall. And granted, there's better cards in it, and you can argue that all you can argue and say, well, that's just, that's just not how it plays. Now, granted, I will admit here, when I played, I am a right-left hit. I bat left, so for me, I prefer left-handed swings. That's my handedness. So a lot of times I might work in more lefties because I prefer that's the swing. I know I'm comfortable with it. And you can be like, well, what do you mean you played X? I don't know how to describe it. I just feel more comfortable with the left-handed swing. Left on left doesn't bother me a whole lot because I had to face it my whole life. So that right there doesn't bother me. So I don't necessarily mind it. Now, let's jump in. I'm gonna turn this off. let's jump into the game and sort of just look around here. So I have a whole lineup here of left-handed hitters. I just sort of want to see where this whole team sort of fits up in terms of just popularity for the most part. So looking at parallels here, this free 99 Lance Berkman again was in that lineup, has 23,000 parallel ones, and as it goes up, it drops from there. P5 only 500. Ozzy Albies, same thing, 32,000 parallels. Reggie Willett, or Eli Willis, the #1 overall draft pick, probably not getting as much play as Ethan, but just for the record, he has, this is an older card, 63,000 parallel ones, so he's getting some use. The new boss, Chase Headley, here at this point, 93,000. He's getting some play, probably because Chipper's so expensive and kind of hard to get. Another newer card here, Jerks in Profar, has 13,000 already. Pretty sizable there. Jorge Posada, who's getting a lot of play here, only has 45. Again, I think people still might be using Cal Rowley. I don't have him, but we can look at his parallels here too. 40, up there in the 40s. Willie Castro, a card everyone really likes swing-wise. He has 79. And again, the outfield's very big. And in terms of Carlos Beltran here, 158,000 active players have got him parallel 1. And of course, as it sort of goes down from there. And then I just had Winsell Perez because I didn't have another one, but he's got 57,000. The biggest thing I'm trying to sort of show with this is in terms of that, and compared to what I'm using currently just as my best team out here, as you see here, how many switchers do I have 3. I could probably go down to 2, but I'm using cards that, hypothetically he's probably gonna get swapped out for Chase Headley. Honestly, I'm gonna do that right now. He'll be switched out for Headley. Jorge's not going anywhere. I guess I could switch to Lou Gehrig, but right now I feel like my lineup's really balanced. But this is my team. I have 3 switch hitters, which I think even the best meta team had it. So I don't know where this whole evil switch hitter meta is really coming from. Granted, are there some great switch hitters that have really good left-handed swings? Absolutely. Do they have the same on the right-handed side? I don't necessarily look for it that way. The reason being is if you're looking at just the stats alone, he's going to have better stats against right-handed hitters than left-handed right-handed pitchers than left-handed pitchers because he's hitting from that side more. If there's more righties than lefties, they're going to have better swings against lefties or against righties versus lefties. Even still, his left-handedness isn't horrid. It's more power. Not too bad. Some extreme examples here. Usually Ozzy has here it's a little bit less. It's a little more mitigated, but for the most part, his 125 against lefties has always kind of been there. Since I remember his power, this is a very balanced Ozzy Albies card, which for the most part is pretty, I don't want to say normal, but Ryan Roberts was another earlier one. He was, he was fairly balanced. For the most part. Now we're gonna look at some other big names here too, because I think this is important. Then we'll talk about the pitching side here as well. So I want to see something. Did I not? Sorry, I'm trying to do the thing for pitching. If it will let me. Oh, there we go. Boom. Okay. I'll deal with that later. Let's just look at some other guys. Ketel Marte is another one that I think kind of took everything by storm here. Ketel, in terms of popularity, 73,000. I mean, granted, he is I think he's still he's not really that expensive, but he's got the swing we talk about, a really good left-handed swing. He's going to fill some spots. The guy that I think was kind of weirdly the tipping point here was good old Chipper. Let me see. Can we get Chippy here? Chipper. Chipper Jones, he's still ungodly expensive. Him, in terms of popularity, for people who have him, he's at 11. 11,000, which is not too shabby for probably the best damn shaper card I've ever seen. So keep that in mind that, yeah, he's going to be in a lot of people's lineups. Look at him. Look at him. Stare at him. Love him. Foam at the mouth to him. He's disgusting. You're going to see a lot of him. Now, comparatively, I think looking at it, I think people just don't like switch hitters. A lot of the hatred, and I think I talked about it last year when it came out, was the people hated the Carlos Santana switch hitting team boost. I think I said it, and I'm going to say it again. If you hated that, kindly kick rocks. Here's the rationale behind it, and bear with me here while I cultivate here. When it comes to games like this, whether it's MLB The Show, Madden, 2K, insert gotcha game here. Personally, when it comes to how those games work and how those games shape up and how devs want the game to kind of feel and play, personally, when it comes to that and how like captains and stuff are handled, for the most part, I always was behind. I wanted fun captains. I didn't care that there was the switch hitter, the shortstop one. I didn't care. I thought those were unique and different. It was like having a whole switch hitting team. Hey, that's, well, you know, have fun. I think in that term, if that's in the game, you have to adjust to that. However that may be. However, you as the player have to adjust to that. Adjust to how the game is and what the tendencies are and what's being used. That is on you. That is not on the devs to change it to fit because people can't react to it, right? Essentially the game's too hard. And having these opinions that, oh, people are going to turn away because of this one particular problem. I don't think that's true. I haven't seen a ton of switch hitting lineups. And two, I don't care if that's how my opponent is. It just means, okay, you might not have the handedness. All right, whatever. It doesn't change anything for me. I don't go into these games looking and saying, oh, this guy's got 4 switch hitters. Oh, he's gonna beat me into the ground. It's never bothered me. If you remember earlier in the year when they changed the Clay Buchholz captain boost, if you follow me on Twitter, you saw me on Twitter say, if you defend this, you're an idiot. I told some people cheering for devs to squash the meta while actively pursuing a meta and cheering a certain pitching meta that we're going to talk about here in a second. I think you're a hypocrite. I think that you just want the game catered to you. And I think there's a lot of people who feel that way. And I am not one of them. I firmly believe if they had here's my biggest caveat to this. They had a left-handed hitting captain one year, right? Crickets. But when it's switch hitting, everyone talked. So that aside, I want to switch over here to my favorite thing as I continue to burn down what little community I have left. I want to talk about this meta here. This is sort of my God Squad pitching. I kind of just rotate guys in and out. One thing you'll notice about me here, in terms of pitching here, I'm gonna turn my camera off so you can see the pitching. In terms of a certain combo, I'm trying Steve Carlton maybe just because funsies. If you notice something about my guys, you see, I kind of avoid a certain combo. I don't look for sinker cutter. Reason being, here's my interpretation of this. And again, I don't believe in metas. I personally love sinker changeup more than sinker cutter. And I've talked about this before. Why? They go, well, why do you love that? Sinker changeup to me comes out of the hand similar and drops very similar. A cutter versus a sinker, a cutter is going to come into a lefty away from a righty, and a sinker is going to break away from a righty into away from a lefty into a righty. A changeup's going to break the same direction. It's just speed. So for me, when I look at these guys, and like for instance, Brady Singer here has a sinker cutter. Is Brady Singer getting used a lot? Not really. And is he that expensive? He's 14. He's not too expensive. Hunter Green here, I think, is one of the better cards in the new set. He does have a sinker cutter, but the one thing I think that people undervalue is outlier fastballs. Outlier fastballs, to me, I think, are one of the tougher pitches to hit because a lot of people strictly can't hit velocity. But people like to sort of hide behind the sinker cutter meta because they think that the movement excels it. I'm going to be completely honest with you. When it comes to using these cards, this is just my opinion. If you pitch with somebody, you like people who you like, that's fine and dandy. I'm going to be, in my opinion, a well-placed hard fastball is going to outdo a well-placed cutter any day of the week. Mainly because a cutter, what's the fastest cutter we have in this game? I don't even know what it would be. Who's got outlier on the cutter offhand? It might, like Corey Kluber, I think the prime. Corey Kluber, his ER. He doesn't have it. I don't even know who would. Paul Skeens would probably be the big one, right? But he doesn't have a 99. He has a 90 something. My point being is when you rely on stuff and certain pitchers come, you're just going to assume more things than not. His primary is a splitter, huh? Oh, he has outlier 1 and 2, so he is a faster fastball, faster splitter. This card I love. I love Paul Steen's cards. He doesn't have a sinker. He does, but it's not like anything spectacular. And he was used a lot to the tune of 87,000 times. P1. However, the king right now, let me go to him. The king of the pitching rotation right now is this man right here. And who is that man? Well, it is good old Al Leiter. Why? Well, let's talk about it. He got to change it. Change everything. Primary sinker, cutter, 1-2, curveball, slider. He's basically everybody's like favorite pitcher right now. He's left-handed, so he will switch hitters. But here's my point. You're going to see him a lot. 1, he's easy to get, and 2, even his like reward card was gross. But the whole thing is, I like this card, but I like it because I can work a sinker changeup, which goes from 94 to 78. And mind you, the control, I can miss down and away, and they might sink it. They still might swing at it. Like, the point I'm trying to make here, and I saw a video where freaking Jordan Zimmerman lit up like a goddamn Christmas tree. And mind you, this is funny, at least to me, is if we look at like Jordan Zimmerman here, 4-seam slider, curve, circle change, sinker, I guarantee you a lot of people's idea of him would change if, let's say, they got rid of the curveball and gave him a cutter. A lot of people's perception of him would change. I think his is a pretty decent card. It's just, I don't think people know how to sometimes pitch outside of a cutter sinker. Right? Like, and maybe I'm insane. Maybe I'm loony when I say this stuff, but it's one of those things where it's like, I played enough baseball. I've watched enough baseball. I've seen enough gameplay of this game to where I don't think this comes down to 5 pitchers. This card's probably viable enough as it is. Like, one of my favorite cards in the game has always been, hilariously, Tyler Glasnow, and he has 4 pitches. I love that card. I don't know why. I pitch well with it. I think I really like a 12-6 curve because that thing breaks so sharp. But the whole thing is, there's a time where I think the slider is probably one of the better pitches in the game. I had like Patrick Sandoval card a couple years ago. Gross because of that slider. The whole point and rant of this video is I think the metas are dumb. I think metas are stupid. And if you like a pitcher, you like a swing, whatever it is, go and use it. Screw what the idiots like me have to say. I'm including myself in this. I'm an idiot. You have to pitch what you like. And if you can't adjust to it, whose fault is that? Is it the dev's fault or is it your fault? Well, it's probably a little bit of both. But trying to, keep down here that say like, oh, Geraldo Perdomo is evil because he's a switch hitter. By the way, let's just take a look. 1100 parallel. So he's not even being really used that much. Just saying. That's all I'm saying. We're just saying. Just so we're clear. So again, I don't expect everyone to agree with me. I just want to throw my thoughts into the matter on this because it's something that I think is just not necessary to be thrown out there. But again, I've heard it so many dang times that I just sort of wanted to throw up my wrong opinion. We'll be back here tomorrow, probably around the same time, because there is the 8th inning program, Weekend Classic, which we already talked about in yesterday's video, and a lot of other stuff coming out tomorrow as well. So we'll be back here tomorrow around the same time for a little bit more of a breakdown. But again, if you like this, please leave a like, subscribe, comment down below. Was I wrong? Am I correct? Do you hate me? You're going to bring out the pitchforks and torches? Let me know down below. But until tomorrow, my name is Specs. I'll see you guys all in the next one. Bye, guys.